We're here at the St John's Hotel in Solihull with gala events ahead of our evening with England legends, and I'm delighted to say that Stuart Pearce joins me here on stage prior to the evening taking place. Stuart, thanks for coming tonight. I appreciate you being here. Now, people would ask whether you have a full workload these days, because everyone knows you. Your first steps in club management, Nottingham Forest, Manchester City, where you had day-to-day involvement with players. Now that you're with the under-21s and you're Fabio's assistant, how has the workload changed for you?
Well, obviously it's slightly different to club football, but you know, my time's made up with helping out on the coaching side of it in regard to football education when I can, going into the clubs, meeting the managers, watching training. Obviously, I'd probably watch maybe somewhere in the region of 5 games a week, and then on top of that, it's really a case of how international fixtures fit in and when we're away with them. If obviously the 17s or the 19s are playing, I would make it my business to go and watch them and stay with them, so I know what's coming through as well. So in the end it tends to be quite full time, to be honest with you.
One of the things I keep getting mentioned to me on the radio is how young players approach the game and their attitude, because you of course came through non-league, went to Coventry, then to Forest, and your career sort of, you know, went in a nice gradual upward curve. Some of these young players, of course, are thrust straight into a top 4 side, you know, or a top half Premier League side by the time they're 17, 18 years of age. Have you noticed a change in their, I'm trying to think of the word, their gratitude? Do they know their place, these youngsters, or is it a different era to when you got into the game?
It's definitely a different era, without a doubt, but I think we ask a lot of young players, you know, we really do. You know, I couldn't wipe my own nose at 17, 18, 19 years old, but we thrust somebody at 17 years old straight into a first team somewhere and ask them to deal with everything that comes with that, the fame and how people treat them, which is quite difficult at times. I think as well, maybe if you've got a talent as well, you don't have to work for it so hard. And that creates its own problems at times, you know. The one thing that used to inspire me right the way through till probably the time I retired from playing was the fact of there was continually something you were striving for, whether it be paying a mortgage, whether it be staying in an England team, whatever it may be, and that spurred me on vastly, you know.
So how do we keep that interest level going in today's modern players who trouser an awful lot in wages? They have an awful lot of distractions outside of the game, presumably. How do you go about primarily keeping that focus with these youngsters?
I think you try to give them the education that you've received, you know, the words that coaches echo to me, you know. I was told by coaches when I was a non-league player to focus and concentrate on your game a little bit more. That was a message levelled at me by a manager that I'll remember, and he helped me. That was as a non-league player, and I have to pass those messages and those experiences on. You know, sometimes it's good when, if you take an example, when we went to the last European Championships, the under-21s, those boys know that I've stood in their place for the seniors at a World Cup and whatever, and you've just got to pass those experiences on, and hopefully the ones that have got their eye on the ball, let's say, the Milners and the Stephen Taylors, the boys you don't have to point in the right direction, or spread the message as well across the dressing room.
5 games a week, it's not good for the marriage life, is it?
It's acceptable now. I think Mrs Pearce has become used to that.
Lucky Mrs Pearce, I would say. What a patient woman she is. Stuart Pearce is with us at the St John's Hotel in Solihull. Delighted to have him and Alex Stewart with us tonight for the evening with England legends.